Conversation today, we are going to have so much wisdom dropping from this panel. We have an amazing panel. We've got one more person coming who has been at an eWomen meeting today, and she's pulling into our studio as we speak. So she'll be joining us here shortly in just a moment. But today is all about visibility, and it's about what's changing in visibility, what's different, what's new, and what's working and what's not working anymore. Because there's things that are not working anymore in the world of visibility. So to me, visibility is your fire, my friends, and that's the best way for us to put our messages out into the world. And as you guys are logging in today, I'd love to see, just drop into the chat box. I need to get my chat box open. I haven't got that open yet. Um, Drop into the chat box where you're joining us from and what you do, just so we know who's here in the room. I know we had bunch of people signing up in the last couple days, so it's been really fun seeing all the good registrations coming through the door in the last couple days. And let me get this back open. Where did we go? There we go. I'm lost. I moved things around on my screen. So there you go. Start the conversation going into the chat, telling us where you're joining us from. And as we dive in today, I'm going to tell you. So I'm Cami Guildner. I'm hosting this roundtable. These are something that I do every other month, and they're some of my most favorite things that I do because I get to have the most magnificent conversations with the most magnificent women. And we have got an amazing panel today that right now business is changing. I don't know if you guys have been feeling how business is changing, visibility is changing. There's a lot of noise that's out there. And so building trust is one of the most important things that we can be doing in our communities with our visibility. And today's conversation is really about what those shifts are and how do you really build your business so that you're attracting clients into your business with more joy and more life and more just excitement in how you're showing up in all the ways that you get to show up. So great to see all of you logging in here. Let me start with our panel. I'm going to start with Dr. Cheryl Wood. And she's an international speaker, a best-selling author, and speaker development coach who has helped thousands of women find the courage to share their stories, expertise, and message with greater confidence and impact. Her work centers on helping women step into their voice and be seen as the thought leader they are. Welcome, Cheryl. I'm so glad to have you here today. Next, we have Veronica Bond, and Veronica is a visibility strategist. She is an AI educator, a speaker, and a founder of Transform My Social Media. She helps women entrepreneurs elevate their visibility, strengthen their personal brands, and leverage emerging technologies to expand their reach and influence. And Elizabeth De Moraes, I got it right. She is an international speaker. She helps high achieving leaders and entrepreneurs develop the kind of presence that builds trust, commands attention, and creates influence. She teaches why presence remains one of the most powerful differentiators in today's marketplace. You guys are in for a treat today because we've got such a great lineup. I'm super excited. I'm Cami Gellner. I'm an international speaker. I'm a business coach. I am the founder of the Extraordinary Women Ignite Conference and host of Extraordinary Women Radio. And I help raise up women's voices and put their messages out into the world. So, as we dive into this topic around visibility, what we do know is that there's a lot of noise. There's all of our people who are listening to us, tuning into us, there's a lot of noise. Your clients and your prospects right now are getting hit with somewhere between 6,000 to 10,000 marketing messages per day. So that's a lot of information coming at them. But here's the trick is it's not that you have to compete with all those messages. What you really want to be doing is become one of those few voices that they remember, that they tune into, that they lean into, and that they start to feel the trust and that's what we're going to be talking about today is how do you become that person that people are remembering. So I'm going to start with the panelist here and visibility is changing quickly. It's from your perspective, what's the biggest shift women entrepreneurs need to understand today? And what should they begin responding to? What's working, what's done, what's emerging? Veronica, you're at the top of my screen, so I'm going to just start with you. Oops, you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
Wonderful. Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello, panel. And Cami, let me just say, I am so excited to be part of this glorious panel and have this conversation right now, halfway through the year, because there's no better time to be looking at what the next 6 months will look like for your business and
Mhm.
how you're going to be evolving through that. And I actually don't believe the biggest shift is AI, believe it or not. I think the biggest shift is that we're living in the noisiest marketplace we've ever experienced. Just like you said, oh my gosh, 6,000 to 10,000 messages. Are you kidding me a day? And you know what? Everyone has access to the same tools. Everyone has access to the same content and the same polished sound. So that means visibility no longer is about being seen and being the loudest. It's really about being chosen and being clearer than ever in your messaging.
I love that. And what's shifting and changing right now? What do you see that's like what is no longer working and what is working now?
That's a great question. One of the things think is shifting is so many entrepreneurs are worried about overwhelm. Should I use ChatGPT, Claude, ClickUp, an AI agent that everybody's getting bombarded with? Which tool, which tech stack? Am I using Substack, LinkedIn, video? I know you just moved over to Substack.
I did.
So I think we're spending more time evaluating tools than actually solving business problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the question really should be, what's the best AI tool for me right now? And well, instead of that question, I think the better question actually needs to be, what is the biggest bottleneck in my business right now? And then choose the tool that solves that problem instead of worrying about the 15 that are available to you.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Totally. And it's because we can just become overwhelmed with all of the information coming at us. And I always tell my clients to slow down into adopting something new. Let people get in there. Don't go in there to be the one that's like breaking, like getting and doing everything first, because then you're throwing a lot of stuff out that you don't need. If you're more connected to your clients, you're really in that space of connection.
I
So,
agree. I
yeah,
I think that people need to choose people,
yeah,
and it's really about becoming more memorable in your space
yeah,
and be memorable with the right people, not the number of people.
yeah,
And, I often, like you, share with my clients that visibility isn't vanity. It's how you build trust. It's how you show up in a room before you even physically show up in a room, and what tools are going to help you do that and amplify that space that you're in. And I think if you can get really clear of shutting and learn how to set up guardrails around that noise, you'll have clarity and focus and perspective.
yeah. Thank you, Veronica. How about you, Cheryl?
Oh, I am over here amening and echoing everything that Veronica just said. I'm like, yes, 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 and yes. There is a statement that I've been saying probably for the past 7 or 8 years that I've been working with my clients. And the statement has simply been this: visibility will always trump ability. And it's so interesting. I still feel that that applies. In fact, I feel like now you need to be more visible than you've ever been because people have so many choices, so many options. You're not just talking about people who are in a local market, you're talking about a global marketplace. So I think one of the big shifts is you no longer can afford to stay hidden and behind the scenes, hoping that people will find you. I will say the shift has also been, instead of just having visibility, now people are also looking for believability. So
Mm,
that's the shift that I've been encouraging the clients that I work with is, yes, you have to be on the platforms, because if you are missing, what's that old expression, out of sight, out of mind is real now. I There are people that I look for and I don't see their stuff up on my, when I scroll on Instagram or I'm on Facebook or LinkedIn. And at some point I say, wait a minute, where is XYZ? I haven't seen them. Because if I don't see you on social media, then I'm looking for the proof that you're still even in business, that you're still in existence. So we have to be more intentional now than ever before to be invisible and being consistent in being visible. But then, am I believable when people do come to my page? They become aware of what I do. Am I believable? Am I trustworthy? Like Veronica mentioned, uh, do they feel like all I am is a scripted bot who is sharing information that I typed into AI and AI gave me these great words to say. And then you meet the person in person and you're like, who the heck is this? This is not, you don't even sound the same as
Yeah.
your stuff that's in your copy on your website or on your social media. So clearly there's a believability and a trust factor that goes along with it. And so all of us as business owners need to make sure that we are equally as competent as we are visible. Like, are we teaching people based on what we really know? The thing that I tell every client I work with is you cannot teach someone how to get to a destination that you've never been to. That's like asking somebody to give me directions to XYZ airport and they're guessing they've never been there before. I don't want it from that person. I don't want it from the person who says, oh, hold on, let me pull it up in my navigation and it might tell us. That means you're guessing the same way I'm guessing. I want it from the person who says, oh, yeah, I've been there 12 times. Here's what you do. You go out here to this street, you make a left at the stop sign, you make another left. It's going to put you on XYZ Beltway and you'll be there in 11 minutes. That's
Mhm.
how we have to show up in the marketplace now. We have to show up in full competence and ownership of what we know, teach people, solve problems, and then share insights that we know will work so that they get actual results.
I love this so much because it is about being standing in the truth of what you stand for and knowing that your expertise has something to deliver. But if you're just regurgitating something that is off of an AI bot, then it comes through for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Awesome. Elizabeth, how about you?
Hello. Yeah, I feel like we're at the Visibility Church. I just go like
Here we
Cheryl says, like
go.
I just
Here
want
we
to say
go.
amen to all everything that you all are saying. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you and my panel members. I love both or all three of you. And it's just such an honor to be here. So thank you. So I say yes to everything that's already been said. Yes, we need to be visible. I would say the last decade, we have been told be as visible as possible, be out there as much as possible. We're still being told, be consistent and get on all the platforms. And yes, that is true. But at the same time, so many people, and so since assuming we're speaking more so to women today, we
Yes.
women, even though we can be very visible, we also feel very invisible because of the way we're showing up. And this is the shift that I see is happening. And I also want to say needs to happen as well. And that is we have been in that visibility in putting ourselves out there and like Cheryl said utilizing or both you and Veronica have been saying using AI and we're regurgitating those things. We need to really hone in on who we are authentically and stop what I call rehearsing our smallness. We can pretend that we're putting ourselves out there, and maybe it's not pretending, we really are putting ourselves out there, but really not to 100%. We are still hiding in being approved by other people, by the likes and shares, but also how we're showing up in life in general. We we as humans want to be approved of. We want to fit in. And the thing is that if we are not different, if we're not bringing something new and fresh and authentically us as our full energy and our full vibration, we then are showing up in a sense as a half signal, and which means our message is not going to land with the people that really need to hear it. And so I see a shift of really seeing ourselves for who we are. We cannot be visible authentically and as effectively if we're not visible to ourselves. We're not seeing ourselves fully. We're not hearing ourselves fully, and that we're listening to all of the voices. I did a post about this today in reference to our talk today. We're hearing all the different voices that are in our own head, but also externally telling us how we should be and are we enough? Are we too much? If we're too much, we're not enough. And don't rock the boat. Try to appease everyone. When we do that, though, we dampen our signal,
Smaller.
and we are meant to really put that out there effectively. So I really invite everyone in your own shift. Don't just be putting stuff out there. Do it from a place where you are seeing your goodness, what God has placed in you to put out there, and step into it.
Oh, I love that so much, Elizabeth. And it's for me, it's like the embodiment of all that you're
Completely.
bringing,
It's the
right? It's like
complete.
just coming out into the world of
Yeah.
like, this is what I am bringing to you and just owning that. And that's so
And
powerful.
have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's like once it's like yeah, you can see when somebody is shrinking and feeling smaller. And it's like, what if you just let that loose? What if you let that loose? So I
Right.
love that. Thank you. I'll just add a couple things. I think right now that one of the things that I'm really paying attention to is that relationship over reach. And reach is important. Reach is important, but all day long you want to be building the relationships you go out, you get on a stage, you meet people, take that relationship to the next space. Don't just leave them behind and then go away. So how can you deepen those relationships? So every time you are on a podcast, you are doing, getting on a stage, whatever that looks like, definitely step into building the relationship beyond that first touch point because people are wanting more of you. Give them more of you. So stay in connection with them. This really came about for me in a conversation that I was having around LinkedIn, and somebody was really talking about the algorithm of LinkedIn, and I was like, yeah, that's great. The algorithms are great, but all day long, I want to be there deepening the relationships and the conversations that I'm having with people because conversations create. So really look for these opportunities for you to be able to deepen the relationships that you're having and and look at the platforms and how they're working for you. So Veronica mentioned this earlier that I've just switched over. I mean, I'm just moving over onto Substack. So, I have all of, I think, 30 followers right now. But I moved there very intentionally. I got clarity around moving there because I had a large Facebook group and the algorithms have changed in on Facebook. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to play the algorithm game. I want the community game. And so all day long I will make choices where I'm really starting to build community. And that's one of the reasons I love podcasting so much is because podcasting really helps us build that connection and collaboration quotient. Like, how are when we're on a conversation with somebody on a podcast, we get to know them more deeply. We're creating long form content, and that gives us an opportunity to go deeper with that person and then learn to go deeper with their communities as well. So, to me, I say that visibility is less about being everywhere and much more about being known for something really meaningful and like knowing what it is that you stand for. So find your thought leadership message, find that thread, that red thread that you carry every place that you go and own that thread. And then that becomes your thought leadership message that you're bringing to the table that is elevating you above. So you become really the go-to person in your space because you are putting yourself out there as a leader. So those are my few tips around this, what's shifting, what's changing. Uh, you know, I agree with with everything you guys have said. It's like we do have to be visible. We have to be out there. And it's like let's just keep, finding the place that calls to you that you're really having fun with. So the next question I have for you guys is, as you look ahead to the next year, where do you believe women entrepreneurs should focus their visibility efforts to create the greatest opportunities for growth, influence, and prosperity? Elizabeth, I'll kick off with you this time. Whoops, you're muted.
We're also efficient and with our muting and unmuting. Uh, let's see. Because of that, my brain went gone for a second. Okay.
You want me to ask it again?
Yes, please. It's
Yeah.
where we see what we recommend.
Yeah. So
Yes.
as you look ahead to the next year, where do you believe women entrepreneurs should focus their visibility efforts to create the greatest opportunities for growth, influence, and prosperity?
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. So we've already spoken about there are so many different platforms. It's overwhelming. All these new tools, everything. What should I use? And if I don't do these, I'll be further behind. And yes, there are certain things that you do need to be involved in. You do need to get knowledgeable in AI and pick which ones you're going to be in, and know really well. Otherwise, you will be like in the Stone Age here in a few years, maybe even already. So, but what I would say is less platforms, deeper rooms. So for me right now, I would say most of my business, I have been more effective and more impactful in person. I do all the social media stuff. I do all the videos and the like for reach and to keep relevant and to be consistent to get that message out there. But the speaking, the specific rooms that I'm in for networking, those are where I find Cami, to your point about, the relationships, that's where I find the most connection and the most impact, and where it's just that one person who says, oh, you know what, Elizabeth, you need to go into that room, or such and such, you need to hire Elizabeth to speak at blah 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 because and it's all because of those in-person connections. And so many people right now, I mean, we all know we are in a trust deficit right now. Anything can be done with AI. I mean, but we can see it though too. We can see the photos and we can see the videos, and no matter how realistic they are, even if it's subconscious, people are here seeing these things and going, that's not real. So there's already subconsciously a distrust in you if you're putting those things out there. So we are already going against that. Even I have a photo that I just posted a couple days ago within a video, and it's an older photo, and it looks totally AI, but it's totally real. But I was like, that almost looks AI. but because of just the you know the background and all. And I was like, oh, I hope that doesn't create distrust because I refuse to use AI photos and videos. So we're already up against that. So people so much right now need that in-person connection. So develop that, get out of the safety of your phone and of your computer, get into those rooms, show up and as the, amazing person that you are with a strong presence that can really speak before you even utter a word and make your impact that way and see what kind of rooms you can get into and create your own rooms too. Create your own stages. That's where your visibility will really, I believe, will exponentially explode, not just the digital. We do need the digital, but that in person, there's nothing like it.
I so agree with that. And whether it's you're going into a, I know you just came from an e-women networking meeting, right? And it's like that is there's in-person places, there's stages, and the your own events, I so agree with. That's been the catalyst for my business is when I started doing my Ignite conference 12 years ago. It's,
Yeah, exactly. And can I tell you a
yeah,
story
totally.
real
Yeah,
quick? Okay.
totally. Yeah.
That it's just to prove my point in terms of um a few years ago, like 2.5 years ago or so, somebody reached out to me from Malta, of all places, doing an event, invited me to speak. And I had to do a lot of research. To go, is this really where I want to go? And all that. And are these people for real? But I had this sensation inside of me like I just need to be in the room. I know I need to be in the room. I don't know why. So that's one point. Always follow that nudge of why do I need to be in the room? I'm a little scared of it, but I need to go. So I followed that. And then because of that, I saw a need that I could do a retreat there. So because of that, I then last 2 years I've now started doing a retreat there, pulling more people over there. Since meeting those people, then I spoke at other events, for example, like at the UN. In that, a client came from that speaking event that now has become my biggest client that just purchased the biggest package I've ever sold. So it's like it's the following those. I need to be in that room. I don't know why. I might be scared. I'm going to go make the connection. You have no idea who will then say, "Hey, you need to now be in this room," and the like. And it unfolds exponentially.
Love
So
that so much. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
Cheryl, how about you?
So in the Black community, when we really love what somebody says, we take our shoe off and we throw it. So I'm really virtually throwing my shoe at Elizabeth because, amen, again, like I love this conversation that we are having. It's so real, it's so raw, and that's what we need right now in this crazy AI world where you don't even know what's real or what's not. I was watching a video the other day, and it was like a guy at his gas station pumping gas. And then all of a sudden the ground opened, an alligator came and ate him. I'm like, really? Like, really? But I looked at it like 3 times to make sure it wasn't real. I was like, maybe that was in Florida. Maybe that did actually happen. So I love everything that everybody has shared. And what I would say, I think in the next year, in terms of where we need to focus our visibility efforts, my good friend, coach, and mentor, Les Brown says there's power in proximity. And I would add kind of the dot, dot, dot to that is proximity in the spaces where I feel most aligned. And I think that's what we're going to see women in business looking for. Where am I most aligned? Who am I most aligned with? Where they are going to celebrate me, they're going to accelerate me, they're going to hold me accountable, hold my feet to the fire for all the things that I say I want to accomplish and I want to do. Because we can either spend time on social media and all these places trying to get visible. And oftentimes, I have 18 and 19-year-old sons, and they'll say, Mommy, are you over there being a bot? And a bot means I'm just scrolling. Like how much time do you waste just scrolling and you're looking at people's stuff and you don't know what's real, you don't know what is real, and you're spending hours. I want to spend those hours in spaces where I am maximizing not only my impact, but the value that I gain when I am in the right spaces that are in alignment with me. And so what I'm looking for the next year, and I'm encouraging my clients to do is Go to the spaces where you truly feel called. The spaces that feel like, wow, my soul is ignited when I go into this space. It's not just another thing that I'm looking at. It's not just another room that I'm in. This room added great value to me. So, and then equally on the opposite side of that, how do I also go into the spaces where I become more valuable to the people who are looking for me and need me and want to take decisive action? So for me, I'd say for the past year and a half, I have been, even before we got into the space of like the AI booming the way it is, I was feeling a shift in, I don't want to be in everybody's everything anymore. I mean, I was in some amazing memberships and masterminds and paying amazing money to be in those memberships and masterminds. And I didn't feel like there was any real value. There was no reciprocity. My opportunities were not growing. I wasn't growing. I was just there to say on my portfolio, I'm a member of this group or this organization. And that's not okay with me anymore. I want to be visible in the spaces that want to help me grow, want to help me gain increased opportunities, and I want to be visible in the spaces where other people are looking for my core expertise so that they can actually grow. I mean, I'm the big 5'2". I'm 52 years young. And I'm like, every day counts for me. Every day. As long as I have life and breath in my body, am I going to the right spaces that are going to allow me to leave the impact that I want to make? I am in this realm of helping women, leaders, founders, executives, entrepreneurs who are brilliant at what they do, but they're safely tucked behind the scenes and they have never been trained professionally on public facing communication. So they have this core area of expertise, but when they're invited to share that expertise in the front of the room, whether it's on a conference stage or on a Zoom, on a webinar, on a podcast, in media, all of a sudden they don't shine as brightly. Well, I want to work specifically with more of those women who I say are my ideal client because they make my soul leap inside when I can take them from being hidden and invisible to being this highly effective and memorable communicator that allows them to gain continued trust so that more people are looking to work with them. And every time I get to work with a woman who is in direct alignment with my area of expertise, my lane of brilliance, I mean, it's like I've won the lottery every single day. So I don't want to spend any more time just being visible. I don't want to spend any more time just being in the rooms. I want to be in the right rooms. I want to be in the divinely orchestrated rooms where I know I'm going to get to leave my mark. I'm going to be able to find the clients who know that I have the value that they're looking for, and I'm going to be able to work with them to help them transform who they are to who they are becoming. And because that for me is priceless. That is what makes me feel like, wow, I was put on earth to do this thing. And if that's not what you're gaining in the rooms that you're in and the people that you're having access to and working with, what are you really doing? You're kind of just in limbo. And I am not here to be in limbo.
Awesome. Hallelujah. And you guys in the drop into the chat if you're feeling the fire of this conversation, drop the word fire, drop a little fiery icon in there because I'm feeling it. So definitely. So amazing, Cheryl. And I love the fact that you want, I mean, it's like the clarity around be in the rooms that light you up and be with the people that you know you're meant to be here to serve, right? That's exactly what we want to be doing because if we are in that space when we're serving the people we're being called to serve, we are doing the best. But we're all being called, right? Right now, we are being called to raise up our voices, to be visible, to be seen, to be heard. All of those things is so important right now. And so that is what I am so passionate about. And so, yes to that, Cheryl. Thank you. Veronica, go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Fire, fire, fire. First of all, Elizabeth, deep rooms. Yes. Cheryl, accelerate. Are you kidding me right now? Yes. That's what we need to do more of. But I think the most important visibility effort every entrepreneur here can make in the morning, the minute their feet get off out of the bed and hit that floor, is celebrate you. Celebrate your unique selling proposition. Celebrate, accentuate it, talk about it, accelerate it, right? Move it forward and activate it like every single day. These are words that are popping into my head right now. Celebrate, accentuate, activate, accelerate, like over and over again. Because when you do that for yourself, you own your expertise. And you don't need to wait till you're perfect. I think
But
so
you don't
many
want to
of
be
us
perfect, right?
in this room think that I have to wait until I'm perfect. I promise that as much as Cami intentionally set up Substack and decided to go move in that direction, how many of you who followed her went and Googled it and said, should I be on that platform now? She didn't just wake up yesterday and decide to post about it and show up in there today. It was something she moved towards as she was activating that next process of who she is now and where she's going. So share what you know, teach it, answer questions, and people will follow you confidently and they'll follow you consistently and they'll say yes to you because you gave not only permission to yourself to show up imperfectly, but you just gave them the same permission that Cheryl Wood, Dr. Cheryl was talking about. Also, build relationships, not followers. Your next opportunity is much more likely to come from these personal rooms and conversations. Right now, believe it or not, what do we have? 24 people in the room. That is a one to many. You showed up, you're saying hello, you're bringing your face forward, you're talking to all of us, we're talking to you. I don't know who Cami knows that I need to know. And here's a sentence that I think many women forget to ask in a conversation. Who do I need to know? I'm traveling to Dallas in a month. Talking to a friend yesterday. She said, oh my gosh, I'm from Dallas. I
I
used to
live
have
in
a
Dallas.
business there. Yes, I know you do, Elizabeth. We're going to be there for Icon, right? I asked her, who do I need to know? I'm coming in early. And then the dot, dot, dot of whatever that next conversation needs to look like. We forget to ask that because I'm guessing many women here are givers. They're wanting to give, pour into others, pour from their cup that's overflowing. And yet we forget to ask for ourselves, who do I need to know?
Mm.
Super important. And three, build assets that you own. Cami and Cheryl and Elizabeth both mentioned that. Build your email list, create those deep connections. Obviously, create your website, make sure it's working and all the links are working. Many of the clients that I work with, they come and they know they need some additional help, but the last time they checked their website and any link that's on there or a blog or an SEO or anything in the back end was months ago. So make sure that you're updating and taking a look at that because that should be a 24/7 marketing wheel for you. While you're sleeping, your website should be working for you. Super important to make sure that's happening. And start with a newsletter, start with a conversation. And I don't mean if you have a 5,000 email list, don't email all 5,000, 3,000, 330. Email very intentionally the people you want to talk to, not just blast them all out, because that actually is an AI algorithm that I saw you all in here say, "Oh my gosh, don't even mention that word to me anymore. I don't like it. It's like a four-letter word algorithm. I hate it." But just be very intentional about how you're showing up in those spaces and then what you do with those contacts. And every month I get to speak in front of a room of more than 60 women as the executive managing director here in Phoenix of eWomen Network. And one of the most powerful things I see happening in the room right now is not one-on-one conversations, meeting somebody for a chat, a coffee, a tea, a lunch. I'm encouraging them find 4 women every month from this room that you can go have a roundtable discussion with. You can sit and have a conversation with, not just one-on-one, but one-to-many. Create those small one-to-many groups. I think that's very powerful. And if you can plan that every single month on top of everything else that you are doing, you'll be amazed what happens and how resourced you will be and what happens to your growth and your potential and your expertise as it becomes so visible you can't be ignored.
Yeah, I love it. And I love your four, I mean, it's the same thing with what's happening here, right? It's like you get 4 women together and you're talking about a topic and you go deeper with it, and that really changes that connection and collaboration quotient and how you are able to be connected to, the people that you guys are connected to, the women that I'm connected to, and they all get exposure to all of us. So it's a beautiful way to do that. The other thing that I would add to this conversation is to build a rhythm and how you are serving that community that you have built. So build a rhythm. I'll do every other month, I do a roundtable. In between that, I do some sort of a training. And so that somebody comes, I get onto a stage, they come into my world, they can go deeper with me. And that's something that you want to be able to go. It's kind of what Elizabeth was saying is build these spaces that we can take people deeper. And that's so important to be able to do that. So really look for how you can create a rhythm that is auto it's that can have your team create a lot of the pieces that are there that you're not having to spend the time doing other than the concepting and the what you want to be bringing to the table, but the processes can get handled on the backside. And so when you are on a stage or a podcast, somebody can come in more deeply with you and get to know who you are and really build that know, love, and trust with you. And there's such great power in that. Okay, we've got like 6 questions, and I want to do these quick, just from a time perspective. Um, so the first question, it came from Susan, and she said, "What's one visibility strategy that felt counterintuitive at first, but ended up being the thing that grew your audience the fastest?" And because I had a little head start on this one, I'm just going to give a quick story on it, and then you guys can jump in here. So, what's something that was counterintuitive at first, but really helped grow your audience? One thing that really helped me was I love to connect great women to great women. And that became a phrase that I have used for like 17 years in my business. I love to create, let me connect this great woman to this great woman. And there's so much magic and spark that happens from that when you do that. And that turned out to be an event that I started early on in my business called Extraordinary Women Connect, because I could connect great women to great women. And that grew my business faster than anything. So I turned this out to who else would like to jump on that one? Like I said, we've got
Good.
6 questions here.
I could speak to that real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's counterintuitive because it makes sense, but for me, it was, oh heck no, I'm not doing that. And I got into professional dance because I wanted to communicate, but never have to open my mouth. I was terrified to speak from little age to, little kid all the way into like my 40s. And I realized, they keep saying if I start speaking, I will expand my audience. And so I did slowly but surely and started adding that into what I do. All the way fast forward 10 years or so, now I am speaking internationally and I coach people on their speaking. So, and whether it's on stage, in front of the camera, or in the boardroom. So it really was one of those things I was like, no, but it's something that has really helped so much. I mean, I've
Totally.
come into my own because of it. And
Yeah.
I think
I
all
can
of
totally
us
relate.
do
I
that.
totally,
I
I,
mean,
I
we
totally
all
had
are.
that same thing. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to be on stages. And like, now I kind of love stages. So
Can I piggyback
absolutely.
on that really quickly?
Yeah, please.
I'll keep it quick. So, similar to you, in the speaker industry, we're all in the speaker industry. I think something that was counterintuitive for me was saying no to a client who really wasn't the right fit for me and referring them to another speaker, referring them to
Perfect.
someone who had a core area of expertise that really just wasn't my lane. And that was hard because you want the stage opportunity and you want the client and you want the but sometimes you actually gain deeper relationships when you are willing to truly have an abundance mindset and say there's a specific segment of the population that I am called to serve, and those people will be magnetized to me because God always makes sure I eat very well, which is why I'm trying to release weight now. But literally, when I am willing to get out of my own way and say, you know what, as I'm listening to you talk, perhaps during a discovery session, whether they want to hire me on a stage, and really that's not my core area of brilliance at the topic, I'm going to refer that to a speaker that's in my network and in my circuit. And that always serves me well because you know what ends up happening? The person looks at me, the speaker is like, okay, we don't do that, but wow, that's amazing. Now they want a relationship with me that deepens. Now they're telling their people about me. So that opens me up to more visibility. But also, you know who else it impresses? It impresses the organizer, the host, who says, okay, not only are you a great speaker, but you are a great connector. And so we want to stay connected. And then they typically will offer me something on the back end that exposes me to their community anyway, even if it's not the stage, because I referred that to someone else.
So, and there's the reciprocity of being able to
Mhm.
give to others comes right back to you. Love it. Veronica, do you have that or you wanted me to jump to the next one?
I think the conversation we could all relate to is, when do you pay to play?
Mm,
And when it is, whether it's a magazine, a PR move, a stage. And at some point, I think you grow past that. But in that very beginning, when you're putting yourself out there, deciding whether or not that's a big move. And I had a magazine chase me for 9 months. And I was a no, no, no. What am I doing? Crazy, no. And I said yes to it. And it ended up being the biggest catalyst for my visibility and launch of who I am, in my confidence, how I showed up in that editorial on the front cover. And I used my negotiating skills to make sure that it was a right fit for me. And it really, truly ended up being a huge win-win.
I love that. I really love that. Okay, this is another question from Carrie. How do you begin conversations about your work with confidence and authenticity, especially when the work is deeply personal or emotionally important to you? Who would like to jump on that one? Veronica, you want to kick us off on that?
Can you repeat that? It was
Yeah,
pretty deep.
yeah. And somebody else can jump in too. How do you begin conversations about your work with confidence and authenticity, especially when the work is deeply personal or emotionally important to you?
Thank you for asking it again. I always start with, I want to know more about the person sitting in front of me than I want them to know about me.
Mm,
So in a networking situation, or even in a 1 minute situation, I want to know more about what is going on in your life, and I tie it to something that is going on in mine. Um, and what I mean by that is, I'm sitting here, I'm meeting Cami for the first time, and she says, Veronica, so what do you do? And I say, Cami, how many times have you wondered who is actually really seeing what you do and how you show up? Have you ever wondered if people can repeat what you do? And
yeah,
now Cami's answering some of these questions. How long has that been? Tell me more about that. How long has that
yeah,
been going on for you? And
yeah,
I'm sitting in my area of expertise by asking the questions, because I know my lane, I know my value, I know what I bring to the table, but it's not about me. I'm really wanting to get to know Cami and how
awesome.
she's showing up in that space. And then I relate it to what I do. And it
Yeah,
really becomes that next question. So it helps take a little bit of the pressure off of, what do I say when somebody asks me?
yeah,
Simple. You ask them the question first.
yeah. Cheryl, do you have something to add to that?
I don't know that I quite understand what the person is really asking. I would love to have a deeper conversation about that. But from what I'm hearing, I think maybe I'm thinking it differently, which is how do I actually have conversations about what I do when it's a deeply personal thing? And from my perspective, I when I'm networking with people or meeting people, engaging with people, I am so over hearing people's titles. I don't want anybody to introduce themselves to me based on their title. Those are the spaces I run from. So for someone like you who has perhaps a heart-centered story and you're wondering, I'm thinking this is how I'm reading the question, that you're asking, how do I lead with kind of my heartfelt story and the thing that means the most to me? That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I think it goes back to the conversation that we've had today, which is finding the right spaces and the right rooms that you are in alignment with and they're in alignment with you. Because when you find those people who speak your language, and that is so critical, they're not going to be asking, why are you telling me that story? Why are you sharing that deeply personal thing with me? They're going to invite that. And then going back to what Veronica said, then they're going to ask more questions because they want to know more. So those are the spaces that I hang out in, where we are not just talking about our titles and what we've accomplished. We're actually sharing what is my life's work that I'm called to do based on this personal experience that I have. Every stage that I take, every conversation that I have, every new connection that I make, it is based on a soul connection. It is based on someone who is willing to be vulnerable enough to sit in a space and share with me something that maybe they don't typically share, they don't typically talk about, but I created a safe space for them to feel like they could openly share that thing, because I believe that is what transforms other people's lives when they're able to hear the deeply personal things that we've experienced. We're still standing on the other side of that pain of that experience. And now all they're going to do is reinforce for you, the world needs you. Don't
Yeah.
dare keep that to yourself.
The
Don't dare
story's
think
good all
that
day long. Keep the
all
story
day
leading.
long. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. Okay, I'm going to jump to the next question. And Elizabeth, I'm going to kick off with you on this from Anna. How do you best turn visibility into clients who are ready to work with you?
How do you best turn visibility into
Into
clients who
clients
are,
who are ready to work with you.
if they're ready to work with me, let's go. I mean, if they're, I mean,
But
if
what's
I've
the
been
trick?
visible and
What's
they're
it?
ready to go, let's
You're
go. And
visible. Yeah.
what's that?
So if you're visible, what is it about visibility that gets clients wanting to work with you? I think that's
Oh,
maybe a
that,
better
okay.
way.
That's a
Yeah.
slightly different
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. Then state it that way, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
How does
Yeah.
visibility help me to transform clients into wanting to work with me?
Yeah. 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 How
Would
does your
that be it?
visibility?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
By being, by, I would, I hate to say it this way because I hear people say this all the time about be authentic and all. Like, what does authentic mean? Like, show up with no makeup and all? No, it's about showing up fully yourself. So, I, for myself, what has really helped me in terms of visibility is to really start allowing multiple sides of who I am show my different parts of my personality. Doesn't mean I have to show, I'm not going to show all the dirty laundry until I've processed that and then show that and show how to overcome that. But it's really about show my professionalism, show my quirkiness, show my talents, and my family. So it's about showing more of who I am so that more people have more connection points. If we're going to talk about social media, for example, show so they have more opportunities to go, oh, I identify with that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I trust her. Oh, that's funny. I want to keep coming back. And where they finally start going, oh, okay, I really know this person now more. And then in the right moments, say, here's an offer, here's something that I can help you with. Or and let me add to that as well in terms of visibility is when they feel like you have been in their DMs and you've been stalking them, where they feel like, oh my gosh, she's talking directly to me, and where they then say, what does she offer that could really help me? I cannot wait until she tells me that. And when you tell them that, they're like, I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's because of that visibility. I hope that answers the question because it was kind of two
Yeah.
questions in
Yeah.
there.
There was two pieces that we kind of wove together there. There's another one, and I'll just jump in this. So this is and kind of built on what you just said from Rachel. How do I show up and share ideas that genuinely add value without people feeling like I'm always selling something? And
Don't
here's just
always
something I will
sell.
say. Yeah, I don't always sell, absolutely. But also you're delivering value. And the other thing is don't be afraid of the word sells. And we don't want to always sell. You're absolutely correct. But don't be afraid of the word selling because when we're showing up, we're showing if we're showing up as a leader and selling and being able to invite people into something deeper with you, you actually are being a leader in your space. And so often, so just be careful with the word sales and what that triggers for you, and know that that can really open up the door for you. Not that you want to just be sell, sell, sell in everything you're doing, but what you want to be able to do is be able to invite them into something deeper with you. You want them saying yes to more of that. One more question, and Cheryl, I'm going to give you this one. And this is from Brenda, I'm shifting to work with groups and organizations on transformational leadership retreats and visioning workshops. I'm wondering what's the best way to market this approach. Now, this is a big question that could go really, really deep. But it's like, so she's really shifting into transformational leadership retreats and visioning workshops. From the perspective of visibility, what would be the best thing that she could do to land in more of those spaces?
I mean, I would just say speak the language of the people that you want to serve.
Yeah.
If you want to be in corporate spaces and you want to provide transformational leadership, make sure that your language matches transformational leadership. So, for instance, my target audience really are women entrepreneurs and founders. However, and that's like the 85% of what I do. But then there's a 15% where I go and I speak for corporations. I've spoken for NASA, Capital One, Verizon, XM, all these big Fortune 500 companies as well. But the languaging is very different. If you go to anything that you see for me visible, it's always going to speak to the woman entrepreneur. But the beautiful thing about that is sometimes there will be a corporation, a company, an association that looks at that or they hear me because they're in the room at an event that I spoke at, and they feel that there's something I'm saying that will apply to their organization. And so I've been hired to do that. So I would say take your 85% and speak the language of the people that you know you want to serve. There is I hate to say it, corporate has its own language. It's very different than
Totally.
entrepreneurial language. And you've
Yeah.
got to make sure that you're talking their talk. I always give an example really quickly of I had a surgical procedure about 5 years ago. I have a twin sister. My twin sister is a nurse. My sister came to the hospital and stayed with me because I was going to be there overnight. She stayed, she slept on the little hard chair in the room. In the morning, I was on the good medication, so I was kind of like in and out droggy, but I could hear the nurse come in for the morning to do the checkup, the morning rounds. And I kind of like I could hear what was going on, but I wasn't really focused. Anyway, the nurse calls out, are you Cheryl Wood? Yes. Okay. Here are the medicines we're going to be giving you. And all I could hear was my sister say, what did you just say? What? And there was like this aggression in her voice. I'm like, oh, wait, what's going on? So I'm trying to come out of it. What did you just say? Repeat the medicines you just said. Guys, she had the wrong person. She was about to give me
Oh,
the wrong medications. And if she had, I would not be here today. The
wow.
only thing that stopped that was that I had someone who was in the room who spoke the language of the nurse. She knew the medications, she knew what was being expressed. You've got to get that specific about who you're talking to in the marketplace. And if it is for transformational leadership for corporations, speak their language so that everything you do, every touch point, they see she's our girl.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Well, and we're glad you're here, Cheryl. Um, okay, we have one final question that we're going to all be quick on. It's if every woman here remembered just one thing about visibility as she continues to grow her business, what would you want that to be? Cheryl, I'm going to kick off with you on this, and also share at the end of that, share where people can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. My closing remark would just be from my perspective, visibility is just, it's an invite, it's an invitation, but it's not the destination. So it's not really about us asking, well, how do I get more people to see me and find me and notice me? It's really what happens and what do they experience when they do find me and hear me and see me and notice me. And it's your job really to get to a space where you're not just more visible, but you are more valuable for the people who do find you and they raise their hand and say, yes, you have what I need. I want to work with you. Sign me up. It's your job to blow their minds. So take the focus and put it on the value, not just the visibility. You can connect with me all across social media on all platforms at Cheryl Empowers. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. Elizabeth, how about you?
Thank you. I would say first and foremost, visibility is an inside job first. It's a decision that you're going to become visible, and you have to do the inner work to believe that you're safe being visible, and because that's a terrifying thing. And so the rooms that you are being called to or that you feel pulled to, decide that you literally belong in that room because you do. And so many times we can go, oh no, I don't belong there. Let me sit in this chair. Let me sit in the audience when I know I'm being called to be in the chair in on stage. And so make that decision. See yourself fully, all the great things and all the not so great things, and be okay with that and still move forward, because that's what people want to see is your greatness and your oh not so great things, because that makes them feel, oh, I'm human, she's human, I could be human. And so I want to close with just a short little thing that I posted concerning this and concerning the element of rehearsing our smallness. It's that decision to go forward. Is that I learned to rehearse. This is something I wrote, so I'm not quoting anybody else other than me. I learned to rehearse because rehearsal made me feel safe. I learned to perfect because perfection protected me from judgment. I learned to shrink because smallness made other people comfortable. But eventually, rehearsal became another hiding place. So I stopped preparing to become her. I stood up, I stepped forward, and I became the signal others needed to hear. So become that strong signal.
Bam. I love that. So awesome. Love it. Love it. That's fabulous. Elizabeth, and where can people find you?
Thank you. My website is elizabethmoraes.com, and you can see all my different services there and my speaking. And then also I love being on Instagram, so that on there I am the Elizabeth de Moraes. I'd love
Awesome.
to connect with you there.
Thank you. And Veronica.
I think for me, what I want to leave everybody with today is someone right now needs you. And if you're playing small and you're hiding behind barriers that are keeping you small, you are being selfish because there are women right now on your path waiting for you to light up and show them the way in your expertise and in who you fully are. And I think that's really important for all of us to remember. Someone right now needs you. Someone needs your encouragement. They need your expertise. They need your solution, but they can't work with you if they don't know you exist. So don't hide and wait until everything is perfect, or don't hide until you get the next thing done, or the next AI bot built, or the next agent figured out, or the next. Show up consistently. Remember the power of proximity. Find the rooms and the places where you can connect with others. You can get on their platforms, OPP, other people's platforms. Share who you are and your brilliance, and let people see the value you bring. Because when you do that, you give permission for others to do the same. And because visibility isn't vanity, it's vital.
Awesome. I love that. And where can people find you?
veronicabond.com, but also on YouTube on my podcast, Be Visible with Veronica, where I interview women entrepreneurs every week, sharing their brilliance and their story, whether they're a bold startup or they're a 7-8 figure earner already. And that's my favorite place to play on YouTube is Be Visible with Veronica.
Awesome. Love that. So my final pearl for you guys is that is that visibility is the fire in your marketing. Visibility is what is going to bring the fire into your business. And when you choose the types of visibility that you love, that you actually feel like, oh, I am so excited to do this, that is going to come through. So you don't have to do all the things. Pick the ones that you love to do and get really good at those things. And just let your light shine through that. And I think that's one of the most important things you can do. I am going to be hosting a masterclass next month called Authority Rising, How Authority Attracts Clients, Influence, and Opportunity. And we're going to drop the link to that here in the chat box, and would love to have you guys join us. I also host an event called Extraordinary Women Ignite Conference, this is going to be my 12th year of hosting this conference. I've done it a few years, and I absolutely love doing this conference. It's in November in Colorado. So come to Colorado and come join us. It's a couple ways you can just go deeper with me. And I want to thank this amazing panel for showing up and bringing their wonderful, wonderful wisdom. You guys it was just total fire here. And so thank you so much for all that you guys are doing in the world. Keep putting your voices out in bigger ways. And this is for all of you, even those of you in the audience. Go put your voices out in the bigger ways. I believe that women's wisdom is the medicine our earth needs right now. So go put your voices out, be seen, be heard, do the good work you are here to do. And thank you all for being here today. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.